Welcome to the Social Chameleon Show, where it's our goal to help you learn, grow, and transform into the person you want to become. Today, we want to talk about passion, pleasure with passion, all those fun buzzwords.
Yeah, seeing as how it's episode 69, just thought we might do something pleasureful during this episode.
Yes, with a little passion.
Yes.
But this is one I know when you brought this topic up, I was like, yes, because I get heated on this one a little. I hate this term, this thought, or whatever it is floating around. You hear a lot of people talk about it. Follow your passion.
Oh.
And it's like, to me, that there's just a lot of bullshit in there.
I guess well, maybe not specifically, but one of the main reasons why I wanted to talk about this was kind of like to do like a compare and contrast, and kind of maybe not put labels on things or get things in the right mindset. Because I think sometimes people think they're passionate about something, but it's just something that they do, I guess, either as like a binge kind of thing or something that they do just to, as a temporary stress relief.
Yeah.
Yet they don't necessarily, continue to do that activity or that episode or whatever it is when like times get hard. It's just like, oh, this is something for now, and this is something that's like a fling or a phase.
Right.
I think we were talking about this the other day. It's like the 49ers, right?
Right.
Like you're passionate as crap about them. Like you watch them, whether they win, whether they lose. You know what I mean? It's not like somebody who's like, not knocking on any Patriots fans. I know some of you out there, but like, yeah, it's pleasurable, right, to be a Patriots fan now because their team is hot and it's cool and it's great. But in the years later to come, I mean, let's just face it, people get old, but when their team dynamic changes and they're not winning as much anymore, like, are you still going to be a Patriots fan? Or are you just kind of on this bandwagon and you're just saying, oh no, I'm passionate about them, blah, blah, blah. But really, like, it's pretty easy to be passionate about somebody who wins all the time.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing, like, that's like one of the examples I think about or I talk about. It's like, I'll watch every second of every game, win or loss, blowouts or smashes, to the very last tick of the clock. If I would have followed this advice, I should move to Santa Clara and go work for the 49ers.
This is true.
I have no desire to be involved in that. I don't want to be in the nuts and bolts, in the nitty gritty of it, in whatever fashion I would be able to add value to that team. Because I want to just look at this, enjoy it during the season, be a fan, get some gear, get some stuff, win or lose. And I just want to stay. That's the distance I want to stay. I want to just stay there. I don't want to get involved in, the players and the nuance and the business and the, all that. I don't have any desire to be a part of that. I just want this to be a pleasure, passion that I just enjoy. And that's where I want to enjoy it, And that's the things that, I think we need to think about especially when we get this advice, your hobby or, I got a lot of hobbies. I don't want to do them as a job, and that's what you've got to kind of differentiate or understand. I like going fishing. I have no desire or skill or to be a professional fisher person. You know what I mean? So that's when and a lot of times I've talked with people about this and they've done this and maybe even they're still in it and it's like, I used to like knitting sweaters and then somebody told me to do that as a job. And now I fucking hate this shit because I got to knit 177 sweaters every fucking week. And I don't know how to get out of this because now this is my income. And it's like, I want to never see a knitting needle again,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a difference when you take something to the point of being your job.
Right.
And it's funny that you mentioned like a lot of other people are talking about this. I was listening to another podcast too, but there is a factor to the fact that if you are passionate about what you're doing at your job, you usually have a tendency to work a lot harder there.
Yes.
And that's just to what to say, but to the point where you're talking about now is like you work so hard at it that now you hate it.
Right.
You're no longer passionate about it. I think people kind of get caught in that trap as well.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I don't know if it was, was one of Simon Sinek's books I was recently reading. And I don't know if it was Start with the Why or Finding Your Why or something like that. And he was talking about this. And I've seen this in other examples as well. You know, you can be passionate about something you're doing. You know, if you've got the correct why or desire or whatever it be to achieve a certain goal, this is just your means. I never in my wildest dreams ever would have thought ever of starting a podcast. But I have, you know, I'm sure you feel the same way. So much fun. I've developed a passion and a fun for this and a learning for it, and you know, putting out the stuff, talking with people, you and I, you know, discussing topics, getting down to this is fun. But I don't do it because I was passionate about broadcasting. You know, it's just something that we kind of stumbled into, and it just became fun, and then we become passionate about it. You know, I don't know if another example, real quick, that really kind of exemplified this idea to me was, if you guys out there remember the show or look it up, Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe. There was this one episode, this guy, he pumped septic tanks. So if you don't know what that is, real quick, it's like an underground giant vat where all your sewage goes. And a truck's got to come around like a giant vacuum cleaner truck and suck all the shit out, literally, figuratively. Suck everything out and then take that away. And this guy, he stumbled into it for, I don't recall what reason or whatever it was. And never in his wildest dream, he didn't go up growing up saying, oh, I would love to be a septic tank pump owner. Like, this is going to be the greatest job in the world. But he was passionate about what he was doing, the service he was providing. And it was literally a shitty job. And but he brought this passion and enthusiasm to the industry and to the job. And that's knowing what he was doing, why he was doing it. The means or the actual work is irrelevant. You know, he just loved what he was doing to help and the things he was doing in the community. And that's kind of what I think this thing should be about. Like, you can become passionate about anything. You can stumble into a job and just be like, you know, these are the reasons I'm here. This is the, you know, what I want to bring to this company, to this world, whatever it is. And you can become passionate. And that's the driver and the, you know, that's going to drive you forward in your career. And save the pleasure for the, you know, the weekend or the off hours, you know, you go home, that release, you know. I like to clear my head and I walk over to the lake and, you know, throw the rod in the thing. I catch nothing. I suck really bad, but it's fun. You know, it's nice to be out there by yourself. And
you do.
Yeah.
No, I guess along the same lines, you know, and I'm not trying to crush anyone's dreams. If you're out there to be a, you know, professional basketball player or whatever the case might be, like, go live your dream, go do your thing. But, you know, at some point you got to understand when something is just something that you do to pass the time, right? And versus something that you are extremely passionate about and kind of want to get into the nitty gritty. You know, and it's, I don't know, for me, it's kind of hard too, because if you're passionate about something, like, you don't want to give up, you don't want to quit, you want to keep going. And even though, you know, and I guess that's kind of where I was at too. It's like, you don't know when to throw the towel in. I mean, if you're continuing to do this thing for your job that you're passionate about, but you're not very good at it, like, that's kind of rough too. So, I mean, I don't know. It
is. You know, my dream as a child was to play in the NFL, to be the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yes.
I was not that good. But, you know, I busted my ass. I had a fun time. Right now, I would drop everything I'm doing and I would run over and I'd play football right now. I don't care. I would go anywhere and play football. I'd go in the yard. We'd play some football. But I realized I wasn't going to do it. It wasn't going to be a thing. But that never diminished my passion for the game, for you know, for watching it, for all of that. But yeah, it's hard. And it's tough when you kind of come to that moment where, like, you know what? I don't got what it takes, or I'm not going to do what it takes to get to the next level. You know, a lot of guys I seen, they were taking, you know, different things and stuff to bulk up. And so I was like, I'm not doing that. And, you know, like I told me, like, if you're not doing what we're doing, you're going to get left behind. I'm like, I'm not going to do those things, you know, and I understood that. So yeah, you got to know where that line is and understand. Maybe you can do your passion or your whatever, you know, in another form, you know, there's lots of ways.
This is true. And then, like, there's ways to find it, especially nowadays with YouTube and, you know, whatever it is out there. I mean, just going on a little tangent a little bit, but let's just say you can't play football or you can't play basketball, but you're good at video games. Like, I think we talked about this earlier. Like, there are people who go on Twitch to recruit people. For people who can play Madden or NBA 2K online. Like it's crazy. Like they're recruiting like a real team of human players to play a video game against other human players. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who would have thought, right? Like, but there are ways that you can kind of change that. And and I don't know if you've thought about it, but if you have a good enough personality for you, since you like fishing, but you suck at it, like you might be able to just make like a YouTube channel of you fishing.
Yeah.
Right. And just like, you love doing it. You're out there and like, you know, it's just like people just like laughing at you because like, oh, look, this guy, he thinks he's so good.
Yeah.
And then like he reels up like a sock and like
hey, I'm good at that, man.
He caught all week.
Arizona all the time.
Sock. 1 week he even caught the left and the right foot. You know, he made it there. Like, you know, and who knows? That might do something for you. One of my coworkers, like he just has a YouTube channel where he just does gardening stuff. Like, and like, I think he has like over like 1,000 followers or something. Like, and
nice.
It's crazy. Like, I was like, you never know. Like these things that you're passionate about. Yeah, okay, you wanted to be a professional sports player. That's not going to happen. But that doesn't mean that you can't be a YouTube channel person where you and your friends go out and play basketball and have a game and like talk about it. Like that, if you're popular enough, if you have a decent enough personality, like people might watch it. I have no idea.
Yeah, you know, and along those lines, I've heard of people in race car driving games and shoot 'em up kind of, what is that, like Call of Duty kind of stuff like that or whatever. Like they've been recruited by real organizations to do like drone work or statisticians and different types of things. Like you're really good at this from a technical aspect. Maybe you're not good at, you know, being in the race car, but there's something to this. Like, can you come work on our driving simulators? Can you teach our drivers how to do these things? Can you come work for us and, you know, fly drones or whatever it be? And you can get something in these leagues or become a professional gamer or whatever. But you got to understand the difference between, you know, setting up a YouTube channel, like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be rich and I'm going to be famous. And it's like in this subject matter or whatever.
Right. And, you know, I just like the key thing is that you can hopefully find something that you enjoy doing, right, for stress relief, that you are passionate about. And, you know, you can find ways to either make that about money or find that way to just relieve stress when you come home from your job, because both are equally important, right? If you're looking for that work-life balance, like you need both. You're going to have some sort of stress no matter what that is from your job. You have to find a way to relieve that. And you know, in today's day and age, I'm not saying we need money, but like money kind of helps and gives you options in life, like food, place to sleep, that kind of stuff. But anyway, just going off on that tangent for a bit. But getting back to the talk about, you know, I know we've been talking about things that people are passionate about, but just take a step back real quick, you know, on things that are just pleasurable or things that you do for enjoyment purposes. You know, a good example of doing those things is like, for me, like Game of Thrones. Like I love it. Like it's a great series. I don't know, a lot of people talk about it, but is that something that you just do one time and it's over, right? Like you just binge watch all 7 seasons in one sitting, and like, you know, oh, that was a good show, and then like after it's over, you're done. Or, you know, people who are passionate about something, like maybe there's something inside of what you're doing, like, you know, in this example, right, we're using Game of Thrones as something you're either passionate about or something that you do for pleasure. But I guess for me, if I take a step back and like, I am like a people kind of person. I like interacting with people, doing things in that nature. So when I take a look back at Game of Thrones, like I don't necessarily, you know, enjoy the show. I mean, I do enjoy the show as a whole, but one of the reasons I do enjoy it is because of all the relationships between all the characters in the story, you know, and like, that's the kind of part. So I am passionate about creating connections with people and helping people and doing things. And I find that inside of watching Game of the Thrones, because all of the characters, you know, we're talking about families, brothers, sisters, friends, like, you know, creating bonds and helping each other through hard times. Like I'm passionate about that kind of stuff. And it just so happens that in Game of Thrones, there's a lot of that going on. So sometimes what you're passionate about is kind of hidden in the things that you enjoy doing, and you kind of got to watch out for that too. So I don't know, I just want to throw that in there.
Interesting. I never thought about it that way.
So yeah.
Yes, makes me wonder about my TV watching list. Shark Tank and
right. I mean, like, is it Mark Cuban that you're so excited about, or this is Tyson we're talking to, but or is it the fact that you actually like to see businesses like go from startup to becoming successful? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you not everybody has that kind of mind where they can sit there and like break things down to that kind of micro basis, but if you can do that and you can find like, I like watching Game of Thrones and I like watching Shark Tank, and what is similar between them, for questioners out there, that might be a little bit easier.
I like, one thing I do like about that is I like the thought process of the people and the conversations that go on. And it's like, especially when they don't listen and they don't shut the fuck up and they just keep going. It's like, but I'm just yelling at my TV. Shut up, stop, just stop. But that's the things I like to watch, that kind of stuff like this, especially. It's just interesting the way people act and interact and the way they think and make decisions and choices. And I like that stuff's fun. I don't know. And I'll look more into this.
But see, that's the kind of thing too, right? That's another reason why I want to do this in the episode. It's like, people are like, oh yeah, I'm really passionate about, Game of Thrones per se. It's like, are you really passionate about Game of Thrones? Because there's a lot going on in there. Yeah. Like, they got blood and guts, and, they got their soft pornography. It's like, I mean, come on, like, what is it exactly that you're into? Because, there's a lot going on there. Same thing with Shark Tank. So,
and it could be the social element too. Your friends and colleagues or whatever are talking about it, and you want to be a part of that group or whatever. So you watch that for the social camaraderie of it.
Yeah. And it's just like, sometimes things aren't as what they are, right? Like, if you say that you like doing something, like, do you really like doing that? Is it something that's just like a guilty pleasure of yours, or is that something that you're actually downright into? Like, you read all the books and like you go into the background of all the characters behind the scenes, and you go to the website and you like look stuff up. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't be shame or embarrassed if you were caught somewhere like doing something in your house and you're like, oh no, my Game of Thrones books, put them away. I don't want anybody to know I'm a nerd in this, like.
I mean, I got a lot of friends who play Pokemon Go, believe me, and there are some of them out there. It's like, we're out there and like, I'm just like standing out, like doing my thing, catching my Pokemon. And you got like my other friend who's like sitting down at the bus stop, like dipping his hat, just like chilling. And then like, he like look up at me, hey, what you doing, bro? I was like, playing Pokemon, what you doing? He's like, nothing, bro. I texting my friend right now. Like, you freaking playing Pokemon, dude. Like, right. But, that's true too, though. I mean, but that's a little different though. Like, what your social aspect and what you're passionate about. I don't know. Those, to me, they kind of go hand in hand, but for some people, they care more about their image than what really matters to them. So, that's another conversation for another episode.
Something you got to work on your own. But what about the aspect of like, what, man, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to start me a YouTube channel. I'm going to do me an Instagram. I'm going to be an influencer. I'm going to build this personal brand. What about that?
Again, with the invention of the smartphone, like, these things are all plausible.
Yeah.
For sure. But is that really something that's possible for you as a person? Like, going back to the whole sports thing, it's like, everybody wants to be a YouTuber or Instagram influencer, or, who knows what's next, right? A Snapchat influencer, if that thing ever pops off and becomes something, like it may, or whatever the next new thing is that we haven't even figured out yet, that's going to come out tomorrow. But when that stops, or when you actually come to the realization that you're not as popular as you think you are, right? Or people don't actually like you, or even worse, you get caught in the mix of things, and now all of a sudden you're this great influencer, but you hate what you do, or you're selling out to somebody. Like, those are the things that I think is even a worse situation. It's like, you started out to do this thing, and now you're no longer passionate about it. Like, like, that's kind of rough. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about that especially in the YouTube world, that burnout.
Yeah.
You guys get tired of creating stuff like, how many more dumb gimmicks can I come up with? Like, that's tough. And that, I mean, that kind of goes back to this whole concept in general. Like when you're just doing something for a check, doing something for monetary gain or fame or notoriety, whatever it is, when these difficult things come up, that the first thing that, you're going to do is just give up. Like, fuck this. I didn't really care about it anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think, if you come up against this obstacle and your first thought is, fuck this, I don't care, you probably should think about why you're doing this to begin with and understand. Like, to me, that's like the telltale sign of like, when these hard things come up, when a hard problem comes up, when something challenging comes up and your first thought is to run away, shut it down, whatever, really, really evaluate what you're doing there. And there's no shame in quitting and shutting something down and like, trying a bunch of things and dabbling. And, a lot of people, whatever, vilify that. And it's like, no, like we got to stop that shit. Like it's okay to like try a bunch of stuff, fail, suck. This isn't what I thought it was. And then just move on to the next thing. And just be like, yeah, well, I gave it a shot, not for me.
Yeah. But make sure that you've sat down and at least gone through some sort of process before you just give up. Like sometimes it's simple, we talk about all this stuff on all our other episodes, like something as simple as outsourcing or whatever it can be. But, the true driver behind something that you're passionate about keeps you going. And if you've lost that drive, for whatever reason that is, like, try to get that back, Now we started talking about this too. We got a friend who loves to cook, but like he would never in his life ever run a restaurant or we almost got him to the food truck. We almost got him to the food truck.
We've tried.
But, I don't think he'll ever do that. One, because, that's his passion, right? Like now that I think about it, it's kind of like that best friend that you never really have sex with.
Right.
It's like, you don't want to cross that line because like you cross that line, like it's over.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be friends anymore. That's kind of maybe how they take it. But like, once you cross that line and like, now this is your income, like you have to do it.
Yeah.
At the time, and sometimes when you have to do something, you really don't want to do it, especially if you're rebels out there, right? Like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Or any obligers who have been in Obliger Rebellion, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it's all fun and dandy until you are now obligated to do it. And now that you're obligated, I'm out. Mic drop.
Yeah. I ain't doing this shit no more. Yeah. And that's the thing. That's like we're saying, that's the time you got to sit down and say, is it that I don't want to do this anymore? Is it that I don't want to be here anymore? Or is it that I don't like accounting? I don't like this step. Like I want to, like, I was listening to James Dyson, the Dyson Vacuum guy, or whatever. And he's saying like, he doesn't want to be the CEO of the company. He doesn't want to be that guy. He wants to be the engineer in the room with the engineers because he knows what he's good at and what he enjoys and what's going to keep him, going from year to year to year and inventing and doing these things. And, he figured that out. He's like, for now, I got to like the company and stuff. For now, I got to be the CEO. But as soon as I can get somebody in here, I want to get out of here because I don't want this to be the end of me here and the end of my creativity and my passion and my drive for engineering and, innovation.
Yeah. And then that all comes with knowing yourself. And, knowing yourself, unfortunately, means that you have to fail sometimes.
Yeah.
You got to go through that whole thing and risk it and put yourself on the line and be the vulnerable human that you are, regardless of whether or not you want to admit that, and make mistakes, because from those mistakes, then you're going to learn like, okay, that mistake hurt. So let's try our best not to make that again. Or, that mistake really felt good. Like, I don't even think it was a mistake. Like I thought it was a mistake, but it actually ended up being something good for me. Like, that takes practice no matter what you do, no matter where you go. So,
and it takes that self-awareness. We got to, all schedule time, take time each day, each week or whatever it be to disconnect and let your mind wander a bit, get your thoughts going, like what's going on here? Like what happened this week? That post-mortem, like, okay, what shit went wrong? Shit went right. what was the things there? Did we miss out on something? Can we improve this process? Even though we won, like both those scenarios, you got to go through, give yourself the opportunity to go through that. And it takes time. It takes that self-awareness and different things like that to be able to look back, look over and say, you know what, this is what went right. This is what went wrong. And I've got to make changes or corrections or add to this or whatever it be.
Yeah, and sometimes people just stumble upon it. It's just as much as luck doesn't exist, right? Like the right thing shows up at the right time, and you just happen to be prepared for it, whatever the case might be. But some people do that, and they get their meal ticket. It's like, damn, like I figured this out. Like one of the YouTubers I watch because I play Super Smash Bros. Is like Zero. I don't know if any of you guys know him, but he was a Super Smash Bros. Player for Nintendo, and he won some tournaments, got popular, and now he just goes out and does Twitch and YouTube, and he makes good money playing video games. Like, you know what I mean? And he did it on his own terms, and like he found out what works for him, and it's good. I don't know the guy personally, but I mean, from what I see, his success levels, like he's got a lot of followers. Like I was like, he's pretty legit, man. He's doing things, but and not saying that you should rely upon luck and everything. And we have an episode on luck. It's not really luck, right? Things just kind of take place in how they happen, just like free will. It's not really your own free will.
Right.
But if that does happen, then that's good. And if you can find a way to make these activities that you are very passionate about and that you get a lot of pleasure from, and make them income generating activities legally,
whatever you're into,
or whatever you're into, just know the consequences come with that. But if you can take that, something that's you're passionate about, and make it into something that's income generating, like that's your golden ticket. Like I don't even think you need to make that much money. Like,
no,
most people think, I need to make like $1 million to be successful. No, like you find something that you are passionate about that doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
You can do that all day, every day for infinity. Now, you'll work 16 hours a day just because you're passionate about it, and the money will follow. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And that's the key. Like you're saying there is, if you took the money component away, would you still be doing this?
Yep.
It's like the answer is yes. Like you're onto something there. Keep at it,
but you do need to make enough from that to sustain, your lifestyle per se.
Yeah.
Or, to sustain life, I don't know what that number is. It's different in every state, but generally I think
it's different to every person too. I mean, there's so many ways to live nowadays.
Yeah. I think on average, the statistic is around 60,000 or so, something like that, which is ironic because that's poverty in Hawaii.
Yeah. But, that's above the median in the continental.
Yeah, in the continental units. Yeah. But I think that's around the ticket. But I mean, who cares? You make half that.
Yeah.
And
if you can live a good life, a lot of people live good lives on, 20, 30,000 a year.
Yeah. You alleviate all the stress in your life. Like when friends come into town or family come, like you can be a part of that, or you can, do whatever it is you need to do and not have the stress of having this job because you need all this money for whatever reason you think you need it. But, so I guess, we were talking about sustainability, when hardship comes and doing things, it's like some of the questions you can ask is like, is this something that I want? Like, I intended out for this to happen. I'm getting something now, right? I attempted XYZ. Now I am getting ABC in return. Like, is this what I wanted? Now that I'm getting it, do I really want to continue to do this? You got to kind of ask some of these questions for yourself. It's like, if not, then, maybe that activity or whatever it is you're doing is not sustainable for you,
Yeah. A lot of times when we look out at, others, whether it's your physical neighbor, it's your Instagram followers, your Facebook, whatever, and you're looking at these things like, this is what I want. And then when you attain it, you're like, this isn't what I thought it was.
It's like, no.
Nothing like what I thought it was.
It's not what I want. You're like,
if I just had that Lambo, if I just had 10 grand, if I just had, you get that. It's like, you realize these things don't solve your problems.
No.
Don't
sometimes
happiness.
Yeah, sometimes the process of going through is just unhappy. Like, yeah, I want that 6-pack of abs, but this is all the food you have to eat for the entire day that fits in your hands. Like, you're like, oh, I didn't sign up for that. Like, you want rock solid abs, like you might have to do that.
Are you gonna do it? Yeah, you're gonna put in the work to do these crazy, maybe training regimens or something like that or whatever. Put in that sacrifice. Yeah, and you start doing it. It happens all the time. Every mid-January, beginning of February, people are like, fuck this. That wasn't what I signed up for.
Yeah. I'm out.
Yeah. Right. So, but, this is when those types of things come up. This is when you need to evaluate, like, let's just stay with this workout, idea. Like, what are you after? Like, are you really after these 6-pack abs? Yeah. Or are you after not being out of breath chasing around your fucking 8-year-old?
Or like, you just want those abs so you can get all the girls. I mean, who knows, right?
Yeah. Whatever it is. And then say, okay, you know what? This isn't, rock hard abs isn't what I'm after. I'm after a healthier life. I'm after getting rid of my diabetes. I'm after stop buying new pants up a size every other week. Like that's what I'm after. And you start to, and then you can craft what you're doing around that. Like, you know what? I don't need this $200 a week trainer to give me some rock hard abs. I just need this. Maybe I'll join this class and I'll get healthier. Like you can start to really think through these things. You can start to craft your outcome based on where you're trying to go, not what you're seeing. Like, I need this beach body. And it's like, oh, I just hate all this shit though. It's not what you're after. You're after something different. Look, dig down a little deeper, figure out what you're really trying to truly accomplish.
And maybe this next question doesn't really work for rock solid abs, but can you outsource something? If you're going after rock solid abs, like can't really outsource much there. Like you need a healthy workout regimen, you need sleep,
right?
And you're gonna need a lean diet. Like that's just no matter who you are, no matter what you do. That's the science of it. I mean, you could go to, or you can outsource surgery. Maybe I have no idea.
That's not even the greatest idea either. But yeah,
I'm just saying it'll temporarily give you abs, but after that, like you're just gonna put it all back on.
But that's the thing. That's a good point. Maybe you need to outsource other things so you can have the time to sleep more, to get in the gym more,
or get those food services that bring your meal prep to you. You don't have to spend time doing that. But like, these kinds of things are like, how can we solution? Like we keep having these hurdles come up. It's like this thing you're passionate about. You just keep smacking your head against the damn thing. It's like, maybe hire somebody to move those hurdles out of the way so you're not smacking your head.
Yeah. And there's lots of ways that could be done. There's softwares, there's services, there's people. I mean, get creative and that's the thing. If you understand what you're after, that's when these things start to open up, these ideas start to open up. You can get creative with your solutions. Give yourself that time for your brain to kind of relax, get away, disconnect. Your creativity will start to come about, especially like we talked about, and we're going to be talking about soon, is sleeping. These things are things that are just going to accelerate all of these things that you're struggling with.
Right. And then other questions asked too is like, are you stretching yourself too thin? It's like you want rock solid abs, but you work 60 hours a week. Like, how are you going to have time to prep food? How are you going to have time to sleep?
Yeah.
How are you going to have time to work out? Like, it's like, you kind of stretched thin there. You're going to have to probably work maybe even less than 40 hours a week to get rock solid abs because you're going to need all this time to do other stuff. You gotta sit there and be real about, what your time constraints are or what your budget is, right? Like, I mean, in Hawaii, it's hard to eat healthy. Believe me, like food is like $6 a pound if you want fresh produce. Like, you gotta eat a lot of fresh produce. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta eat a lot of protein. Like, it costs money to eat well.
It does. It does. And even that is something a lot of people get kind of bogged in and they just, they shop labels and they shop this thing. Oh, well, this has got to be good for me because it's non-GMO. It's gluten-free. It's whatever the new buzzword is. And, really, there is no such, like, there is no non-GMO gluten-free coconuts. Like there's no other fucking alternative.
This is maybe papayas, but,
but even that there's, but those are things you gotta, especially when your budget's tight, like these are the things you got to look and say, do I really need to be doing these things? Like this stuff real? Like, I see a lot of this stuff. I see people fall for traps, different things.
Do I need to eat turkey? I mean, whatever. I mean, you can find a budget. Like, you want to eat lean for real, like go buy freaking 20-pound turkeys. Like, that's the cheapest meat you will ever get. Like,
whole chickens. Yeah.
You'll probably get tired of eating it real quick, but it is cheap. And
right. And I think we talked about this before, a lot of times in this example, eating healthier is actually cheaper for you because you're full more, you're not craving different things. Like, there's a lot of science to that. And sleeping.
Yeah, but
we'll talk more about that.
I tend to think you're gonna go buy fresh groceries all the time versus getting flash frozen vegetables. That's
maybe vegetable for vegetable. And I'm talking about, like, the standard, like, a box of Hot Pockets. You're gonna be a lot hungrier versus if you got a nice turkey.
Yeah, well, I've had this conversation with many people, believe it or not, and Vienna sausage and ramen goes a long way.
It does.
I don't find me a better meal budget than Vienna sausage and ramen. I dare you. I double.
Yeah.
Right. Not find it. There's no way.
Right. Yeah. Especially here, I think they're like 10 cents a pack or something like that.
But like in real life, that food is just not really great for you.
Yeah, it's garbage.
But will it sustain life? Absolutely.
Right.
Done it for years, over and over. Every now and then I'm like, wake up in the middle and I'm like, man, I'm craving something right now. Vienna sausage.
No, I never liked it.
We even spruced up some Vienna sausage one time. It's put some little cheese whiz in there.
Cheese whiz.
Fried them. Like
we
fried them. Things we did when we were silly, but it's good. But anyway, so getting back to, sorry we went off on tangent there, but stretching yourself thin though, like, you know what I mean? Like, you've got to be realistic about what it is you want to accomplish. Mm-hmm. If you are spending too much time in anything else, I'm not saying that those things aren't important to your life, because they probably are. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing them, right? But, realize, like, I only have so much resource, either that be time, whether that be money, right? Whether that be knowledge. Like, you've got to get out there and get these things and put them in check and make them sustainable for whatever it is you are passionate about, or something that you want to do for enjoyment purposes.
Yeah, those are good tips. And I think another fun question to ask yourself in this topic line is, when the plan for money ceases, when you're no longer chasing after that, what would you do? What would you do with your time? What does that look like to you? What would your life look like? How would you shape that?
Yeah, because I think a lot of people look at things that they're passionate about and they're like, well, I could never do that because I'm not smart enough, or something along that lines, or whatever the excuse is. Who knows what the excuse is? But if you could take those obstacles out of the way and make it happen, like, what are the possibilities? They're kind of endless. I don't know.
Yeah. Tim Ferriss, if I can find a link to it, he has this good worksheet that you can plug in what you want your life to look like, what that would cost. You want this kind of car, you want this kind of whatever, and then on the bottom it'll tell you what you need to your monthly income to be. And it's really, for a lot of people, it's very shocking that it's a lot less than you think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So and if you can get something like that, work a plan to do that. Let me take a note to link that for you guys. You can start working backwards from that and say, I think I can live this lifestyle for, that's just $1,800 a month. Like, I thought this was like a $5,000 lifestyle. And you say, okay, what can I do? To cut some expenses. Maybe let's work on paying off some debt. Let's pay off that car, whatever it is. Like, if I do that, X and Y, like, I can go do this thing. Like, I have a friend I was talking with, and we're talking about his job or work or whatever it was. I forget how the conversation started, but he's like, he works in autonomous vehicle startup. And he's like, I fucking hate it. I don't want to do this. I'm like, why are you doing it? So I got to pay off my student loans. I was like, well, what do you want to do? He's like, I want to be a teacher. I want to teach math. I was like, why don't you figure out how to go do that? He's like, I can't. I'm like, no, but you can. He's like, well, I make a lot of money and I've got options, share. And I was like, yeah, but if you can craft your life in a way that all these things still get done and you can go be a math teacher. Like, math teacher doesn't have to be what you traditionally think it is. You know, you can go on these platforms, Skillshare and these different things, and you can have a course that you get paid for. You shoot it one time, you film it one time, and it just keeps generating money for you each week. Maybe it's not working out of high school or middle school for $32,000 a year, you know? But that's the thinking that we get locked into, you know, like, oh, I can't do that. I got $127,000 of student loan debt. Like, I got stock options. Like this is like an IPO I could cash out, you know? I'm like, I think you're going about this in the wrong way. You know, we had a good conversation about it, but the point of the story is don't get locked in that. Like, the amount of money you need is probably a lot less than you think it is. And you can really craft your life in a way to live the way you want to live.
Yeah. And, you know, again, this takes some time to think about it. You know, most people don't.
Yeah.
They just want to go on and they have this great plan of what they think it should be. And then when they get it, they don't even sit back and evaluate, like, is this what I want? Or, you know what I mean? Like, should I do something else? It's just like, oh, this is what it is now. And that's just how it's going to be. Like, I don't know. I don't necessarily live life that way, but teach their own, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. And, you know, I think we're getting down to the end and nitty gritty of this whole thing. Is I loved your, I guess, number one thought rule on this whole thing. Like, that gratitude, that grateful. I never put that into this conversation.
Really?
Can you take us there?
Yeah. I mean, this is something that, you know, we're talking about right now that is going to be the driving force in your life. Like, just think about that for half a second, right? This is something that is going to drive your life forward, that you were going to do, you know, from the bottom of your heart, from the goodness of your heart, for other people, for yourself, right? Things that it will enjoy doing for the rest of your life. Dang, I should really be, you know, I don't know, I should be a rabbi or something, or priest right now, doing at a wedding, you know?
Pastor Ryman.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but just think about that. What's the number one thing when I start saying these words? Like, something you're going to enjoy doing for the rest of your life. You know, something that you are so passionate about that you would give your soul to do it. Like, don't those sound like positive things? Right?
I can get down with that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, those things only come from positiveness, right? You're going to go back to the power of intention, right? 7 faces of intention, right? Talking about things like love, talking about things like gratitude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about things like joy. Like, those are all positive feelings that you just got to be grateful for. If this is something that's going to last and something that's going to be a part of your life forever, like, to me, the number one thing that speaks is gratefulness. Like, how are you going to do something and not be grateful for it?
Yeah.
It doesn't, to me, you know, maybe there are people who can, maybe I'm wrong, but like, those are the things that you will do over and over, like the things that you are grateful for. And that's just, I don't know. To me, that kind of takes it back and takes it all to square one, whether you're passionate about it or whether it's something that you do as a pleasure, like, you're grateful for it, you know? And I think not enough people spend time doing this. I can't express to you, you know, go walk down the street or go to your job and like, just be like, hey, real quick, coworker, what are you grateful for today? And be like, I don't know.
Bothering me, I'd be grateful.
You know what I mean? But take some time and think about it. Because if you can find out of the things that you're grateful for, I think that you will find a lot of where your drive comes from to do what you do, why you are passionate about things, and why you enjoy doing certain things. You know, start there. If you start, I mean, just think about it. To me, that just makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know if we talked about it either on a previous episode or before. It depends when this kind of goes. But a fun thing I've been having fun with is all the shitty stuff, all the stuff that nobody in their right mind would ever say I'm grateful for. My bills, my mortgage came in, my rent. No, I've been having like a good time with this.
I don't know about
being grateful for the shitty stuff in life. Like, damn, I got a flat. My tire pressure came out another day. I was like, you know what? I'm glad I'm right near this exit. I was like, pull right off. I'm like, dang, I only got 4 quarters of $1.50. I had to go inside, get change for $1. The guy said, no, we can't give you change. I can't open the register. So you got to buy something. I was like, all right, that's cool. I get it. I go buy a pack of gum. Pack of gum was only $1.37. I saved myself money by buying that gum, and I got the air pump turned on for free. I was stoked. When the electric bill comes, I'm like, oh man, it's a high bill this month. Like, yeah, nice. I'm glad I had fucking Central AC. It was 115 outside.
I don't know about that electric bill, but that's up to you.
But I've got the money to pay it. I don't have to stress like shit. I can't pay this late because payday's after the due date. Like, we can be grateful for like all these things.
Yeah,
like,
I'm there with you, and
it's been fun.
I don't know about I don't know about the bills thing, but
dude, give it a try. It's fun. Everybody out there, give it a try. It sounds stupid. When I first heard it, I was like, this is dumb. And it's been fun. Like, you really open your eyes up to a lot more stuff you're grateful for.
I'm just saying about the bills. Like, I'm going to agree to disagree on the bills, but the flat thing, I can agree with you completely on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If none of that happened, you never would have saved money on gum. The other things I like to think about are like, somebody needs me or somebody needs me to be in this place at a certain time, which is why my car broke down.
Yeah.
Or my car broke down so I can avoid being in town right now where I get into an accident and die.
It's funny. I actually came from somebody's house that needed my help with their car.
Yeah.
It was funny. I was on my way home.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, whenever things like that happen, I always think, okay, this is a life plan. I'm going to go down this new path now that I was not intended to go down today at all. I never would have thought I would have been here had my car not broke down, but I'm here. And because I'm here, like, there's a reason for that. Like, I can kind of believe in that. But
that's what I was thinking too. I was like, it's great that I was on my way home. I was by myself. My son wasn't with me. My wife wasn't going to work or coming home. Like, I was all these things. I'm glad I got this taken care of. It was on a Saturday night. And Sunday, I went over to Costco and I had them all check everything out. Like, I was glad. Like, all of this was like, so I was able to just knock all this out. Didn't affect anything or anybody. Nobody was in danger or whatever. It could have easily gone the other way. And I had just got my car serviced, so the first thing coming to my head, I was like, goddamn Ford didn't fill up my tires. And I was like, well, hold up here. Hold up. All right. I see this. Take this as an opportunity to just check everything out, make sure everything's okay.
And I can agree with you on that. Just like kind of this whole thing about being gratefulness, like you ever, and just remember, like, whenever, expansion comes, it's like recession is going to be next. Same thing. Grateful. Like, as soon as you think like you're the happiest person on life and you have every reason to be grateful, believe me, something's going to come test your patience real quick. Like, give you something to be unpleasant about, or
it's got a 15-year-old.
Whatever, could be your wife. Who knows?
Yeah.
You didn't hear that. I'm sorry, but
you're sleeping. No,
but you know what I'm saying, though, right?
Yes.
You will be tested rather quickly, and see, you think you're, just like patience. Same thing with patience. If you think you're the most patient person in the world, guess what? Somebody gonna come along and test your patience. You think you got just enough money, like, oh, I'm rich, believe me, some problem gonna come up. It's gonna take that money away real quick.
Always, I swear to God.
Life will always find a way to test you, whatever it is. But again, we're talking about passion and pleasure, and for those reasons, like, you keep moving forward, you keep going through. So, yeah.
Definitely. Anything else? Man, we talked a lot about different passion, pleasure type things.
Man.
Think we hit everything you were looking for?
I think I'm good, man.
Good. If you're looking for something to maybe add a little passion or pleasure or something to your life, check out this month's giveaway. socialchameleon.show/pick-me. See what we got going on. We've got all kind of things. We want to help with your pleasure projects, your passion projects, your work, your gratitude, whatever it is. We do books, we do courses, and anything we can get our hands on. Go over, see what we got going on this month. The socialchameleon.show/pick-me. See what we got going on. If you want something to be a part of our giveaway, something you're interested in, also let us know about that. I will link some different resources for you folks in this area of either it's finding your passion or whatever it is, different things along those lines. If you're interested, head over to the socialchameleon.show, check the show notes. I'll put a bunch of things in there, including this Tim Ferriss thing I was talking about. If you're looking to, see what kind of life, what would cost you to live a certain type of lifestyle you're looking for. Any other things in that realm, Ransom, you want to talk about?
Oh, good, man.
And then moving on to this week's challenge, do more of the pleasurable things that you are passionate about. Mm-hmm. I want everybody to sit down, get out a pen and a piece of paper. If you got to go buy some, go buy some. Go get it from a hotel or someplace for free. Write this question down. You had $10 million right now. What would you do? Mm-hmm. Somebody died, you won the lottery, whatever, windfall. You had $10 million. What would you do? Write that out. Figure out how to go do that.
Yeah.
That's this week's challenge.
Yeah. And, it just takes us to our final thoughts. It's like, a lot of people put excuses, or they're afraid, or they're fearful. They want to quit. It's like, if this is your true passion, if this is something that you're going to do with everything that you've got, like, you got to put all that negativity aside. Mm-hmm. This is for you. This is for something that's going to be sustainable. You got to find the light in the darkness. Get out there, be positive, and positive things will happen.
Absolutely. If this is something you want to talk about with your friends or family, have a little discussion about this, go ahead and share this with them. Get around, start talking about these things. Maybe you guys can do some things together, bounce ideas off of each other, whatever it is. And the best way to help the show is to share it. Leave a like, a review if you're enjoying what we're doing. If you're not, let us know. In between shows, you can connect with us at the Social Chameleon Show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube if you like the video version and your favorite podcast app. For past episodes and links to everything we talk about here today, you can visit the socialchameleon.show. And until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep transforming into the person you want to become.